And then I made some promises such as like, oh, it's no big deal. We'll get you a new kitchen. And that somehow turned into living room and staircases and exterior. And yeah, so I guess that's all part of a kitchen for people who don't understand. Yeah.
Oh, no, we understand. Thank you.
Yeah, okay, no.
I'm Natalie.
I'm Braden, and this is our home in Langley. I've been in real estate for 15 years, helping people find their dream homes, and we had a list of things that we wanted in our home when we were moving. And back in the Greenbelt was awesome. Back in the being on the cul-de-sac was awesome, but we kind of had the mindset that we can fix whatever we need to in the house, and it turned out this whole house needed fixing. So that's it was kind of a bit of a challenge, but it had the things we couldn't change.
Yeah, but she had great bones, and we really, really walked in and we kind of just had a good feeling. And yeah, like Braden said, it ticked all the boxes except the fact that it was quite old and quite run down, and we were like, we can fix it.
We knew Dan personally, actually. So we'd known Dan for years. We'd gone camping with Dan with the group camping trip. Friends. Yeah. So I knew Dan in a social setting and usually a several beers involved setting. But
and it turns out he's really, really good at what he does. So
yeah,
gave him a call.
Yeah, we had a few friends that had used them, a few other friends who hadn't, wished they had. And then when we were just starting to plan this, Dan didn't even know we were planning it. We were at the Home and Garden Show. It's where our first purchase was getting the hot tub before we even started on the house, and bumped into Dan right next to the hot tub display. And just kind of kicked it off and got started with him. Yeah.
A lot of good friends of ours that we really trust were saying like what a great job he does and how committed he is to like good trades and just like good quality of work, which is something you want to hear as like, young people like kind of trying to conceptualize taking on a job of this scope. It's like, hey, well, I want someone who's going to I want someone who's going to treat our home like their home. And that was the vibe that we were getting.
We did change the layout quite a bit on the main level, and we did it in a way that kind of suits the stage of life we're at with the little kids. Everybody wants to see what everybody else is up to and needs to be able to know where everyone else is. And when we have friends over in the same stage of life and there are even more kids, it's the chaos can be managed in a more open space where it's up. Yeah. So
whereas before this area we're sitting in was like behind two walls. So when we did have friends over with little kids, we were all just kind of in that space over there, which is quite a bit, like, it's still a good amount of space, but it's quite a bit smaller. Whereas now, like, the moms can sit here and the kids can go down there, and like we can still kind of hear and like see what's going on, and they're quite happy to like hang out without us, and we're over here like quite happy to be without them. So I'm home, and I still to this day, like, we haven't been here too long, like maybe 4 months, but like I'll still stand in, I'm gonna cry. I'll still stand in like certain points. Like one is like right at the top of the stairs. The other is like right kind of where the door to the kitchen like used to be. And I'll just like stand and like look at like this section and this section. And I like remember what it was like to stand there and see it before. And just like, it wasn't just that it like didn't look nice, but like things weren't working. So like, for example, like I would worry that my kids were too cold in the winter, and like one of them was waking up because it was so cold. And like, what else? Like, I'm not worried that like the sliding door is gonna blow open because it's too windy, or like the gutters aren't gonna fall, or like we're not gonna lose power. We lost power so often.
I do like driving up to, what I'm enjoying too is just pulling into the street, because all the other houses in this whole cul-de-sac are newer homes that were subdivided off the original property here. So our house is more than twice the age of anything else in the neighborhood. And our neighbors, it was actually really cool because we've gotten to know the neighbors really well, and it was really neat to just even hear other neighbors kind of thankful that like now when you pull into the street, the house that had hands down the worst curb appeal has now made everything look a lot nicer.
Yeah.
And that feels nice too, because being a source of even people feeling pride of ownership in their neighborhood, and that was never the goal, but like hearing that we had a part in that is, honestly, that's probably my favorite part. Yeah.
Well, it's just nice too, because like we love it here, and we did, like, despite all the issues before, like we loved it here before, like even when it was the way that it was, like it always just felt like home. And now it just feels like now it just feels like the home of our dreams instead of like, you know, the home that it's like we're just kind of in for now, but like, you know, there's always like the next step. And now it just, I feel settled.
Huh.
And it was like, it took a long time, but I feel settled.
We love having our friends and family over. We really like just hosting and being surrounded by people who we make each other happy, right? And I like that since this has been done, it's not like our friends are more happy to see us now, but it's like,
are.
No, it's more just like, you know what? It's now because we've changed layout and stuff, it's like having that open door where it's just like we have
the kids downstairs.
We have so many times where the friends just come. It's just really casual. The kids go downstairs. We've got tons of room in this new kitchen. We just gather on the island. It's what we hoped it would be in that way, right?
And I remember like at the first party we had, like after we moved back in was Christmas. So we had like his whole like side of his family over. And we like looked at each other. We just saw this like house full of people. And it was like, we did all this so we could do this.
No, that was
really awesome.
Yeah.
That was really, really cool because, yeah, it was awesome. And it is so much easier to host now because we actually like have the space and nobody has to like sit on the floor because we've got, you know.
Yeah. And we don't have that many friends.
No, we have like 4 or 5.
Just like, that's all.
The kitchen cabinet. I'm gonna cry because the kitchen cabinets I had been waiting for like forever. And then we'd come and Braden knew that they were installed, but he didn't tell me because I think he knew that I would have been at the house that night to like look at them and cry. And like, I didn't cry again. Like I actually cried and when I saw them. And then we were like driving off to pick up the kids from preschool. And I was just sobbing like, thank you, honey, they're beautiful. I'm gonna cry.
DMC has a really, really good team. And I think it's really kind of understated how powerful that team is because we actually, aside from the fact that Dan's a friend and that we had decided to work with DMC because of Dan.
Rumors were true.
Yeah, once the project kicked off, though, the reality is we didn't see or chat with them much at all. And initially it's kind of like, okay, what's going to happen? And then we get handed off to Wade, who is
spectacular,
amazing. And he, very good, very accessible. He's an extension of Dan in just about every way. And then Wade's got his number 2, who is Derek. And Derek is exactly what you would hope he would be for Wade. And it was like the deal right down to like, you know, some of the guys who were here every day, like Nick and everything. So the chain of command in the team is something I'm really trying to duplicate in my own business. And I think that's one of the things that I've actually mentioned to other people about these guys is that, okay, like just because you're not working with the guy who runs the company doesn't mean you're handed off to the team who doesn't have a clue. Like these guys are.
No, they were awesome.
Yeah. In my experience in real estate, their concerns are probably in this priority, in this order would be probably, okay, how much is it going to be? And I think price wise, renovation's expensive, but they're fair priced. And then right up with that, you know, you're dealing with a company that's got integrity, which is very important. So finding that combination, especially in the construction industry alone, is a very rare thing. And then like what we didn't even realize how important was to us until later was just the quality of the people aside from the ownership group. And for all those reasons, I think there are things that we enjoyed even as we went. We found we enjoyed about working with these guys. And I think that's one of the main reasons I'd pass them along.
Yeah, I'd pass them along just because of like the quality of work. And like when I sit in here at the end of a long day, like I'm not sitting and looking at like, well, I wish that wasn't quite that way, or I don't think they did that properly. Like when I sit down and I look around like in this room and I'm just relaxed because I'm like, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Like there's just so few things to like, they just did such a good job. There's so few things to complain about. And that's because they've got such great people who know what they're doing.